So, hello everyone, this is Djuntas, and today I'm just gonna talk a little about my final thoughts for Diablo 3 now that the game has retired. So I actually did not plan to play it after I also did Necromancer last season, but this season they retired the game and they effectively just gonna keep reusing old season events, 3 of them together at the same time, which is a pretty cool thing. And that's why I got lured in to also play another season for only the second time ever in Diablo 3. I'm actually playing a season. All the other seasons in the past has just not really interested me. The portal thing sounded fun, so that's why I made a Necromancer last season, and now I also did a Crusader. But today's topic is gonna be about like my final thoughts of Diablo 3. What is the major issue that I have with this game? And also just some positives, and yeah, I guess I will start just quickly by saying that I'm playing basically Diablo 3 because I'm waiting for Diablo 4 to actually be good. So that's why I actually wanted to play another season, because I just don't have any interest right now to play Diablo 4, which is sad. So that's why I wanted to play a little bit of Diablo 3. And now I also got to do a little bit of a Crusader and Necromancer, which I have never played before, so it's fun to just kind of try these out, these 2 new classes. And obviously this Crusader thing with the pony is fun. But let's answer the topic now from the title of the video and everything, while I maybe just run around a little bit here on Torment 16. So this goes very fast. And why does this go very fast? Like, I'm one-shotting mobs, everything is very easy. So why am I able to kill things very easily on Torment 16? Well, that's because I have 19,000 strength, or, well, 10,000 without the set bonus from Guardian's Jeopardy. So 10,000 strength, that's a lot. Or is it? No, it's actually not. And I'm gonna talk a little about an example that kind of brought this topic in my mind again, and why I wanted to record it today after I've kind of got a little annoyed yesterday, or not annoyed, but it's just kind of like a realization of Diablo 3's major issue, and that is the paragon grinding. And I know I talked about that before in other videos, but Diablo 3 has this horrible problem with main stat, main stat, main stat. Nothing matters but main stat. It's all about main stat. And I really can't say how much I dislike that. So now this goes pretty fast. This is not a problem to do. Let's go into something a little bit more challenging. A greater rift at 123. That's the 125. I think that's like the max I could probably do with my current strength. And I will also just quickly talk about the gear. I have a primal weapon, not a perfect roll one. It's 1 stat from being perfect. It also needed 10% damage. But all the other rolls are pretty good. Maybe not all of them. Like, I'm missing a good Squirt's necklace, and I'm missing 1 roll on the shield. But for the most part, I have perfect rolls on every item. This one is also wrong. It has vitality, it should be strength, but like for the most part my gear is pretty good. The next couple of upgrades are just gonna be ancient rolls. If I'm ever gonna get those, it's very hard to get ancient. You have to play a lot to kind of progress from where I am now. I'm already pretty strong, but the next leap, the next step, that is going to take so much more effort. And I think that's just the problem that I have with this game, where you reach a ceiling incredibly fast. And you can see now, I'm not able to really one-shot these mobs here. Like, I can kill 125 Greater Rift, I assume. I actually haven't done 125 yet as solo. But for the most part, you get to a certain point, and it's probably around Paragon 800 already. That's usually where I see, like, okay, so now I'm Paragon 800, I have all this gear, I have a finished build, I'm very cool, I'm very strong. How do I do a Greater Rift 150? Well, you're not going to. A Greater Rift 150 requires so much more grinding, so much more Paragon leveling, so much more effort. For once, all your items has to be ancient rolled with good stats on them, or at least ancient with decent stats on them. And that takes so much more effort. And that is why I think whole the whole issue with Diablo 3 is just the required level. Like you can get to Greater Rift 120. I soloed a 123 yesterday. So you can get to that point. But if you want to do a Greater Rift 140 solo, or maybe even go for 150, and that is me talking from Season 3's, Season 13's perspective, I am incredibly strong in this season because we have two of them at least gives power seasonal events that's going to aid me. But that is just not enough. I can already tell you now that just 125 is pushing this build here, even though I actually do have what I would say is good gear. But to do 150, you have to grind to 2000 paragon level. Again, all your items has to be ancient so you can augment them. Augmenting just means you get more main stat. I would say in order to do a Greater Rift 140, 150, you probably have to have 30k strength, intelligence, whatever, to a standard chance. 13,000 main stat, that's probably the minimum. And that is also using not the Guardian's Jeopardy, but something like Orgles or whatever your build might want to use. I can already tell you now that this is much harder than just 120 going to 125. And I suppose that's just how the game scales. If you don't have a lot of main stat, this is just gonna be your your fucking This is just not fun to look at. I suppose already way behind, and I'm just not being able to do that much damage. I can maybe try and show a little bit there, and now I also prog it, so I have to move again. And yeah, I think that's pretty much my thoughts on this game here. Like, Diablo 3 is fun. I definitely enjoyed these last 2 seasons that I did play for like 2 weeks or whatever. Just a little bit casually and so on, not that many hours. But still, you reach a ceiling where the next step, in order to actually get good, as people say, get good, you have to invest so much more time, and you have to just play very efficiently. You cannot play like this. This is not efficient. So I have to jump down to a Greater Rift 110, which I can easily speed run, and then just be playing the efficiency game and hope that you get a Squirt's Netlick with elemental crit and socket on it and so on. Like, the gear requirements has to be ancient, have to be perfectly rolled, and then you have to augment it, everything, and then just hope that you can get to 2000 paragon level. Else you're never gonna do it. And yeah, I think that's unfortunate that Diablo 3 relies this much on scaling from just main stat, and I talked about this before in other Diablo 3 related videos, but that is really the main issue. You can get Paragon 800 to Paragon 1000 somewhat easily. You can get this sort of okay gear, but even in a season now where you have the Altar of Rights, you got the shards, the soul shards here, and you got Vision. So that's 3 seasonal events in 1 season. Even with everything like this, it still takes so much effort to go from okay that I am right now to actually good. And I will close the example now with I'm seeing a lot of people like in the chats and everything just looking for a Crusader for some reason. They seem to be very popular. And yesterday I inspected a random Crusader in the chat, and he had 30,000 strength, so that's 2 times, 3 times as much as I have. So he has all the strength, he has all the ancient rolls, he has a really good Squirt's Necklace and so on. He does not have to rely on Unity to survive. He can do probably 150 solo, and he's Paragon 3200. So Paragon 3200, that is just what would be the required thing to perhaps do endgame content in Diablo 3. And I think that's pretty boring, that the game is basically just scaling out from your Paragon level. And of course drops also matter, but then again drops do not matter. It's pretty toxic like that. So yeah, I was just hoping perhaps that this season, with all the seasonal events, like 3 of them, getting primal weapon, that maybe not a good primal weapon, but it's a good primal weapon, like getting all these sort of gear here now that I could maybe push beyond 130, maybe do 140, but no, the next step is Paragon 2000 for me if I'm ever gonna progress, and I'm not gonna grind to 2000 Paragon. That is extremely tiresome and boring, I imagine. So yeah, the seasonal, the season 13, whatever 30 is over for me now. It was fun, but I think for most people, they are gonna stop after 2 weeks at Paragon 800, 900, 1000, and that's it. Cause the next step is just too boring. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope this was a little bit of an interesting rant on Diablo 3. Again, I find the last 2 seasons that I played to be fun. It is actually a fun game, unlike Diablo 4 that doesn't really seem to... Yeah, we will see about Diablo 4 in the future, because right now I think I'm done playing Diablo 3 permanently, or at least I'm not gonna imagine that I'm gonna return to the game any longer, because now I got it out of my system. I got to play Crusader and Necromancer that I also never really played in Diablo 3, and that's it. So, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and have a good one.